Welcome back into ABC News Live Weekend. Well, Sean Diddy Combs remains in federal custody right now after pleading not guilty to a new sweeping indictment that accuses him of forcing an employee into sex acts. Jury selection for his trial will begin next month ahead of opening statements for May 12th. But first, there's a huge legal battle brewing over a key piece of evidence. It's that disturbing video first obtained by CNN that appears to show Combs allegedly kicking and dragging his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a Los Angeles hotel. Now, the defense team claims that this video was edited. They call it misleading, deceptive. But CNN says it never altered the video. Combs' attorney says his client is innocent and has repeatedly and vehemently denied those accusations. For more on this case, I want to bring in former federal prosecutor and trial attorney Neama Rahmani for this week's Burden of Proof. Neama, thank you so much for being with us. Let's start with that video. How likely do you think it will be that this is going to be allowed into evidence?
Morgan, I think it's very likely it's going to come into evidence. Now, the prosecution is going to have to authenticate it, establish the foundation, but there's a reason the defense wants it out because it is so damaging to their case. Let's not forget, Diddy denied everything, even after his homes were raided in March of last year in Miami and Los Angeles. Only in May 2024, when CNN got a copy of this video, did Diddy come out and issue that apology. Not very heartfelt, in my opinion. But I think the video will come in despite any editing. I think it goes to the weight of the evidence, not its admissibility.
Well, if it's ruled out, could it hurt the prosecution's case?
It could, because people can lie, witnesses can lie, victims can lie, but video doesn't lie. And I think there is probably more video than this, if you believe Cassie Ventura, and I do. She said that Diddy videotaped many of these freak-offs, allegedly for his own sexual pleasure, but also to maintain control over the participants. So obviously we haven't seen any of these videos, but some of the lawyers representing the victims say they have. So I think that this may just be the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the video evidence in the case.
Well, look, if it's allowed in, and you kind of touched on this earlier, how does the defense team even explain the response video that Combs posted to Instagram 2 days after it was released? You said that you don't think that it was an authentic apology, but in that video, he called his own behavior inexcusable. He said that he felt sick looking at it. I mean, could that be seen as an admission, even if they don't allow that video into evidence?
It is an admission, and the defense is trying to minimize it, saying that it represents just a small snapshot in time in what was a more than decade relationship. But I don't think there's any excuse for what we saw in that video at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. And Diddy's own admission that he needs to change his behavior is certainly something that's going to come in. That's his own words. And I think we're going to see more and more evidence like this that's going to come out, whether it's testimony of the victims. Now we have a second superseding indictment that adds former employees. That's important because we're seeing the same story of physical and sexual violence, not just with people that he was in a relationship with or people that participated in these freak-offs, but people that were employed by him. There's a story of him dangling an employee over the balcony. I mean, this is pretty serious stuff. And when the jurors go into that deliberation room, they might say, well, maybe I don't necessarily believe the testimony of one victim, but when victim after victim is telling the same story, that's going to be too much for the defense to overcome.
Well, you mentioned victim after victim. You know, the video is one piece of evidence. The witness testimony will be another. We understand from prosecutors that as many as 20 other witnesses could testify in this case, and then some who are reportedly really terrified of coming forward. I want to shift now to jury selection. What are the challenges with seating a jury of Combs's peers?
It's going to be very challenging. Typically, you don't have jury selection that lasts this long in federal court. The joke is federal judges, they take the first 12 and they put them in the box. But jury selection can be longer in state court. But in this particular case, because everyone in the entire world, they know who Sean Diddy Combs is. Everyone has seen that video. So they're going to come into that courtroom with preconceived notions about the case. So jury selection is going to take forever. Now, if you're the prosecution, your number one goal is to remove jurors that might be fans of Sean P. Diddy Combs, because we know how well celebrities do in criminal trials in this country. We just saw it with the ASAP Rocky case. Now, that wasn't a strong case, but that was an outright not guilty here in my hometown of Los Angeles. So if you're the prosecution, you got to make sure you don't have any stealth jurors, fans on that panel, because otherwise it's a very strong case in terms of the evidence, setting aside the celebrity factor.
And we'll certainly all be watching how all of this plays out. Neama Rahmani, thank you so much for allowing us to lean on your legal expertise.
Thanks, Morgan. Talk to you soon.